Welcome back to Stuck in a Side Quest. We're doing a mini quest over Sex and the City today, and I have my mom, Christy, and my dad, Sean, with me today. This is actually my mom's favorite television show, and it's the 25th anniversary this month. So, plus what is the...
Last month.
Oh, last month. I forgot. It's July now. What is the new show called? And Just Like That?
And Just Like
Yeah,
That.
Just Like That season 2 is coming out, so we figured we'd talk about it today.
Yeah. I would rather talk about Sex and the City than the new show.
I mean,
I'm a purist.
Yeah, I mean, we can still talk about it. You can still talk about why you don't like it.
Yeah, there's that. I'd rather talk about what I do like, though.
Yeah. Did you start watching this show when it first came out?
I did not. I didn't start watching it until your dad got into The Sopranos. So I was probably a year late on it, but it became a thing. It was our Sunday night thing. Sopranos and Sex and the City.
Yeah, we went back and watched the first season.
Yeah.
Because you know how HBO does it. They replay
Reruns, yeah.
You know, so we did that. But I only started watching it because I had to watch it before The Sopranos came on.
Oh, yeah.
Don't let him lie. He likes it.
I remember being a kid because we would already be in the bed, and I would hear that tune in the HBO static thing.
The static thing,
So now it doesn't matter what show I watch. When the static comes on, I hear the Sex and the City theme song.
True story. Me too. That's still a thing.
So, who is your favorite characters?
I actually like all four together.
You don't have anyone that you like better than the other?
I relate to each of them individually. I think I'm probably as mouthy. Probably got the sailor mouth from Samantha. I probably got the attitude from Miranda. I can, vibe with that. And there's an element of Charlotte, your dad would say, that I act like her.
You do be a little high-strung sometimes.
Yeah, a little high-strung. And then Carrie kind of balances out the normal. So you can see a bit of your personality in each one of them. So I don't have a favorite. I like each of them.
Charlotte.
We know why.
I'm a sucker for brunettes.
I don't know. I think, what were you going to say?
I kind of liked them all except for Carrie.
You didn't like Carrie at all?
I hated Carrie's character.
Damn. What? That's a hot take.
Every relationship that she had, I never took her side because she was so whiny.
I guess I could see that.
I mean, it was insane. Like, think about, like, the time, like, when she first started dating Mr. Big, because I never said his name. But his name's John.
John James
You found out on the last episode.
It was like, oh, you didn't introduce me to your mom. And I'm like, dude, y'all been going out for like 3 weeks. Calm down.
Yeah.
Everything with her was way bigger of a deal than it should have been. And when I was a younger man, I watched the show. I was in my 20s probably when we first started watching it. And I would think, oh, man, getting to get behind the curtain and see what women really think, And then now as an older man, because we rewatched this show like, God, probably 1,000 times.
Yeah.
That's, how people like watch The Office on repeat. Your mom does this with Sex and the City. Like when I have to go to bed early for work, I hear the noise. And then I'm like, yep, just watching it again. But as an older man, I look at it and I'm like, this chick is too much work. Like way too much work.
Yeah.
I'd be like, kick rocks, lady. I ain't got time for this shit.
I feel like Carrie and Charlotte are both too much work to a certain extent.
Yeah. Charlotte, not so much, though.
Yeah, she was crazy about getting married, though.
She was. But, I think a lot of women in their mid-30s who want to get married and aren't married would probably be insane about that. See, the rest of them didn't really care about being married. She was the only one that was like a traditionalist and was like, I need to get married and have kids and, But
they all come from different backgrounds, though. Charlotte, was daddy's Episcopalian princess. She went to college and she even labeled herself a WASP. So, yeah, she had to have that personality.
Yeah, I get all that. And like I said, yeah, that's annoying in its own aspect. But Carrie was just too much. Everything was huge drama, no matter what.
But you know what? Carrie mentions that her father walked out on them when they were little. So I think that it was a hint behind why she was the way she was about men.
That could have been like, just a male take on the way she acted. I don't know, y'all are females.
Yeah.
Because like the time the dude Burger broke up with her on a Post-it note, how big a deal that was. I'm like, you couldn't see that coming? Like
I
this
mean, yeah.
this guy already acted like a flake
She was
anyway.
ignoring all the red flags.
Yeah.
True story.
It's
I
like,
will say
I never
that.
see anything bad. And then all of a sudden, oh, it's so terrible.
Well,
Yeah.
they had to work too hard at that relationship. That relationship was a no-go from the beginning.
I was pulling for Burger. I liked him. I liked his character, but
If he just wasn't so much of a baby,
right.
it could have worked out.
Right. And then she just pissed all over the only good guy that was ever on the show.
Right.
Your dad's team Aidan all
Me
the
too.
way.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Mm-mm.
Aidan was the everyman, you know?
Aidan was the one. He was
Yeah.
the best.
Aidan was too easy. And I like Aidan, but he was too easy. Every girl likes a bad boy. There has to be an element
Yeah,
of
but-
drama or it's boring.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I mean, where could the plot have went after that? Live happily ever after?
I mean, yeah, for a TV show,
No.
but for real life,
Oh, well, maybe. Yeah.
I would have dropped big from the get-go.
Right.
That's
But
too much
that's what
for
I
me.
said.
me.
That's going. She's a drama queen. She likes it.
Yeah, she does.
Hmm.
She went right back to him every time. Answered every phone call.
I mean, it happens. I've been there.
He wasn't
I've
even
done-
that cute, anyways.
He was. He was pretty dashing. And
No.
he had money.
He's
He had
built,
money.
he's built like SpongeBob SquarePants. He looked like a big square block.
Oh my god.
Well, we got that out of the way.
Yeah.
Aiden looked like a regular dude.
Yeah.
I mean, like a middle-aged man should look. He had a
Yeah.
little pot belly, and you know.
He even gave her a second chance after she had the affair.
He even redeemed himself. Remember, they said he went from granola and turquoise to, he cut his hair. He even got rid of the pot belly. So
But man,
it still wasn't good enough for her.
that's the only thing I didn't like about the show. But it was, I don't know, it's kind of hard because the show was actually just centered around her.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's about her.
But I just didn't like the way they wrote her character all the time. Is like so whiny and needy, and I'm like, I mean, which I get, there are people like that in the world, but
Yeah, but then even when she got back with Aiden the second time, he started moving in and the ring and everything, and she flipped the fuck out. And it's like, this is what you wanted,
right.
but now that you have it, you're pissing it all away again.
It's like-
Because she's the last single girl and she wasn't ready to let it go. Plus, I'm sure there was pressure to put her and Mr. Big together.
I mean, yeah, for the audience.
Well, it's even more than that. So a lot of this was based on true events.
Yeah, right.
And so in real life, Mr. Big was, a deciding factor. Not for the happily ever after, but that's how it worked out in real life.
Do you know if Candace Bushnell ended up with like her person in the real life story?
The last thing I read about her, she was single.
Oh, okay.
She was still single.
Well, that should tell you something.
Yeah, there was a
Maybe she doesn't know that much about relationships. She can't keep one.
sort of like Carrie. They send Carrie off to a seminar. She's supposed to teach a seminar, and she was like, "I don't really know much about men."
Yeah.
It's just real life. Just got to figure it out.
So, I think for me, I don't necessarily have a favorite. I all liked certain aspects of them all, and all certain aspects got on my nerves of them too.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Miranda kept going back and forth on Steve too much, and she never would. She wanted to, but she was too scared to do it, and she put
I
that
like
man through the
Steve,
ringer.
too.
I like
Steve,
Steve
too.
a lot.
Yeah.
Steve was. She had her tough persona was too much.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a little bit of that persona, so I understand it, but it was even too much for me. It
Yeah.
was too tough sometimes.
What I didn't like about the thing with Steve is Steve was just a regular person. He was a bartender. He worked a regular job like everybody. But everybody else on the show, they didn't necessarily come out and call him a loser, but it was kind of like, you have no ambition. I'm like, maybe he likes what he does.
Yeah.
When
When he ended up owning the bar, doesn't he?
Yeah,
does.
but it takes
No, but
normal
yeah.
people to run the world.
Yeah.
All these other things that you're doing, it takes normal people.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you're trying to. Remember. So this is a whole other aspect.
You're right.
This show is bougie. Fashion is a
Yeah.
huge part of
It's
it.
like a fantasy land type deal.
No,
like
it's just
everybody
about-
doesn't live like this.
Right.
I know, but it's supposed to be about people who live in Manhattan on
Right.
the Upper East Side. They have good paying jobs and they love fashion.
I rewatched it recently, and Scott watched a couple of episodes, and He's like, I don't understand how Carrie affords all this shit on her little.
So
Right.
there's a
newspaper.
magazine article that says if this were real life, Carrie would not have lived on Perry Street.
Yeah,
she
no,
would
absolutely
not have
not.
been able to afford it.
Or buying Manolos every week.
And that's TV for you.
You know.
And rich friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's why they gave her a book deal and all these other things I think people started noticing that as it got more and more successful. Hey, somebody that writes a small column cannot afford the fashion.
She did go through her phase where she said she was broke.
Yeah.
But it wasn't what we knew as to be broke.
Right. Exactly. No, I don't have Manolos lying in my closet.
Yeah, no.
All right. So who was your favorite? You didn't really have one?
Yeah, no, I didn't really have one. But they all individually got on my nerves. Like Carrie, I liked certain aspects, but then there was other aspects I didn't like. And Carrie being too whiny was one of them. Miranda, just the way she was with Steve, gave me the ick. And then Charlotte got on my nerves the most, I think, because she was so high strung. She was just about to explode. She was like shaking sometimes.
And that's the one thing
It's
you
just
said was
crazy.
like me.
Well, I don't know. Anyways. No, but then she married what's his name?
Harry.
No, not Harry, the guy before.
Trey.
Trey
And
McDougal.
yes, and she put up with that for way too long.
Yeah, that was too much.
Yeah.
That got weird.
It got
It
really
got too
weird.
weird.
Yeah.
She's putting her face on the people in the Jugs magazine.
And was okay with it.
Right.
no.
Whatever.
A man's mother did that to him.
Oh yeah. Bunny.
Bunny.
But then she met Harry, and at first I didn't know how it was gonna go because she was kind of like, "This is just for fun. I'm not ready to bring you out in the world.
Yeah, this is
You're
just
a hairy
sex
bald
only.
Jew." And then
Harry just mowed her down. He did, honestly. He was like, "No, we ain't doing this."
yeah, and so that was her perspective at first, and then she converted to Judaism for him.
Mhm.
So, but I think Harry's my favorite man out of all of them that they end up with.
yeah,
I
me
did like
too.
Harry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Harry acts like a regular dude, even though he's probably a high-paid lawyer.
Yeah.
He acts like any other man. He just doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
He was like, "No, you can act this way all you want to, but this is what we're doing."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he also can handle her craziness and
Yes,
bring
he
her back down a
does.
little bit.
Right.
Oh yeah, he's the calm to her going up into the clouds for sure.
And then with Samantha, her ending up with
Smith.
Smith Jared.
Jerry Jared.
Your parents named you Jerry Jared?
I didn't expect her to eventually settle down with anyone. I guess him being who he was kind of made sense for her, I guess. She wouldn't have settled for just
Actually, I was
anybody.
really. It ended up making sense, but at first, I didn't see that coming. I expected
Yeah, I didn't see it coming
to
at
be a
first.
few episodes and then on to the next, but it actually worked well even into the first movie,
I don't think that it would have lasted if she hadn't gotten breast cancer.
True.
I think the way that he handled all of that,
Yeah, he was more mature than she was.
yeah, it kind of changed
kinda
her
weird.
perspective
I
on
think
it,
in
but-
real life, though, like that situation, the type of person that Samantha was in real life, oh yeah, that definitely would have went down.
Yeah.
Because, like, I mean, look at the guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She'd have been like, "Ooh, I'll give you whatever you want."
Yeah, true. Yeah. Now that was a very surprising because I actually thought that's what they were going to do with Richard.
Yeah.
But Richard, they already planned that out and let you know Richard was going to stay a dog,
Yeah.
which he wasn't for her.
No.
That was supposed to be, I think, you've met your match in a man, and we'll
Right.
see who wins type thing.
Yeah.
Well, we got the who's Team Aidan or Team Big.
Yeah.
So what do you
I
team
stand alone.
Team Stanford or Team Anthony? I'm Team Anthony.
I'm Team Anthony.
Yeah.
I'm Team Anthony. I love Stanford. He's sweet and he's a really good friend, but Anthony is funny as fuck.
Oh, I would have hung out with that dude
He's
all day
hilarious.
long.
No, he's so funny.
I mean, one of the best things in the world is when she asks him what a beautiful day it is. Could you imagine anything better? And he's anything worse or something like that. And he's like, yeah, stonewashed jeans and a matching jacket.
No, I just like the
His
way he talked to
one-liners.
other people.
Yeah.
Like all the things you would be thinking in your head, he said them out loud.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he was a smart ass. I totally groove on that.
We didn't really see too many of Stanford's men that he dated, but The one that always sticks out in my head is the one with the dolls.
Oh,
yeah.
gosh, yeah.
That was so crazy. And I guess, I mean, the show touches on all kinds of people that you can date. Like, pretty much anything that you can think of is
Oh,
in
yeah.
that show.
Any
but-
neuroses, they show it. You. Oh,
So fun fact, in real life, Stanford was not gay.
Yeah.
But it was like, you
he
automatically
played it
would have
well.
assumed he was.
Yeah,
he
so
did a
he did a really
fantastic
good
job.
job.
Yeah, he did play it well. I hate that he wasn't in the new show.
He died.
No, I know.
Yeah.
He died
passed-
like right
Right at the
before
beginning.
they started.
Mm-hmm. He passed away. It was very sudden, I think, and unexpected. So,
Yeah.
yeah, he was a big part of the show.
Is Anthony in it?
He is.
Is he still friends with Charlotte?
He is. He's still friends with Charlotte. He shows up now and again. His wit is still there, but it's like, I don't know. I'll go ahead and say I'm not a fan of the new show. I feel like whoever's writing, I don't know if it's the actors or the writers, but the actors don't seem like themselves anymore.
Yeah.
Despite the new, angles that their lives are supposed to be taking, they don't act like themselves. Like Charlotte, it's like almost, for instance, Kristen Stewart, or is it Kristen Stewart? Kristen Davis. Sorry.
Yeah.
Kristen Davis, she,
Don't mess up her name.
anyway, she acts like she's forgotten who her character was. So I
Yeah.
don't know if it's her or if it's the writing that's being given to her, but they just don't seem like themselves. I know they've gotten older. I can't get into it. I've tried. So for instance, Anthony's wit is still there, but he's different. And I can't put my finger on it. So,
Well, is there a different writer?
yes, there are new writers. I think they're, trying to be more modern. But these women were women of the 90s, early 2000s. And I know they're trying to change some of the themes to more modern times, but it doesn't fit. Like, you don't see them navigating in some of the ways. Like, I get that maybe Big would probably have passed away early from a heart attack. He was a lot older than Carrie, but
Well, and he always had the heart problems that they touched on in the show anyways.
he did. And I hated that they killed him off. But at the same time, again, would we have just gotten that boring happily ever after right off into the sunset?
I think that's why they did that, because there's really no show.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, what is there to go on except for just
So,
watch them do whatever they're doing?
Carrie's moved on instead. Now she's doing a podcast. That makes sense to me. That's to me something that she would do to move her material into a more modern area. But in her personal life, she seems pretty lost right now. Like, they had her sleeping with her producer and then she breaks up with him. And I'm like, would you really still be doing this in your
I think so.
50s?
No, they're in their
they're
60s.
Yeah.
I don't, and here's my big thing about it, and I know it sounds real superficial, but like and it's an obsession in America now with like plastic surgery.
Yeah.
These women look horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, they've done so much stuff to their face.
They don't even look like the same person
No, it looks
anymore.
terrible, and
Yeah.
I can't look at them and
Except
try to
for-
watch the show because that's all I'm thinking.
Well,
I'm like,
actually, I
look
don't
at your
know.
face.
Yeah.
I don't
Who's
know
on
that
that high
Cynthia
alert
Nixon
like
has,
that?
though. She looks more like herself. I don't know that Cynthia Nixon has.
Yeah, but
and
Sarah Jessica Parker and Kristen Davis have
yeah,
plasticed it up.
they look very different. I don't know. It's just hard to imagine them. I mean, we all grow old. It's just, I don't know. Again, I'm a purist. They're all in a box for me, and they
Yeah.
need to stay in their little 90s, 2000s boxes.
I mean, it's fine. I don't know. I think they should have left it alone personally.
I do too.
I hate we've talked about it on the show before, but we're in such a big reboot culture and it's just the same thing over and over again. And sometimes characters are just supposed to be left where they were left.
Right. Like,
I'm
so
with
they
you
did
on
the
that.
two movies. The two movies moved them forward, and I enjoyed the storyline and where everybody was, and I think it should have just been left there, honestly. I don't need to know anything more about them.
I think what it is they're trying to capture a new audience,
Yeah.
but you can't do that with old characters.
Yeah.
yeah.
It'd have been like if they'd have remade all the Star Wars movies with all the original characters. It'd have been like,
Yeah.
this ain't right.
Yeah.
But I think that the show stands by itself. It's a timeless topic.
Yeah.
Like, women are still the same.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. And I mean,
Everybody changes, but I guarantee you, if you go back to the 1920s, even when women were oppressed, and they still probably thought and acted the same way, just
Yeah.
not as openly. But
Well, and I feel like the kind of people that they dated and all the different situations they ran through are still situations that you would run through today.
So the thing I found out about it being someone that was pretty close in their age, I related to a lot is, growing up dating in the late 80s, early 90s, you know, your dad's right. The same things happened, but women didn't really talk as much openly.
Yeah.
And after watching that, it's like, oh, I could say that out loud to my friends if I got really good friends.
Yeah.
They'll probably, if I did say it out loud, they'd be like, oh, what a relief. I feel the same way.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And I think it opened the door for stuff like that for sure. Yeah. I mean, it is timeless. Men and women are going to interact the same way. Essentially, you're going to have neurotic people that you go on a date with and go,
Yeah.
never again. It doesn't matter if you meet them on Tinder, in person, whatever. I think those kinds of things are always going to go on for sure.
can you pee on me?
Yeah. Jeez.
I mean, I like that, the
Yeah.
aspect of that, like, some political guy, and he's like, but I like to get peed on.
Yeah.
And then everybody's like, what? Then you know what everybody's boundaries are, even the characters in the show. Even if you think they're open and progressive, they're like, yeah, I won't do that.
Yeah. There's always something somebody won't do.
Exactly.
Is there?
I mean, yeah. What else?
Let's talk about the fashion.
Okay.
I know. I'm pretty sure I can guess and say this probably influenced a lot of your love for fashion watching the show, did it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I bet you got a good knowledge of fashion.
Yeah.
See, I always liked fashion when I was growing up. Vogue, Cosmopolitan, Teen Vogue, all of that stuff. I was
Harper's
obsessed.
Bazaar. Is Harper's Bazaar newer?
It's older.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's a much older magazine. But
You can get them on your Kindle now.
oh no,
Harper's Bazaar is on Kindle Unlimited.
no. You need it on paper. You need the supermodels.
Yeah.
There's even an episode about supermodels. There's a guy who's obsessed.
there's more than one episode
Yeah,
about supermodels.
supermodels. That growing up for me, Cindy Crawford, Christy Turlington, going to the store and buying those magazines and seeing them wear Ralph Lauren and all the designers and stuff. Yeah,
It's
I always
different
liked
now though,
fashion.
because like social media is where you view stuff now.
Yeah, it's
All the
not
models
same.
have their own pages, and you get behind the scenes behind the shows, and then like Victoria's Secret, their fashion show. You
Yeah,
can watch it on
see,
TV.
Growing up, it was it was very exclusive.
Yeah.
You had to buy the magazine. You had to go figure out who the supermodel was and find the article about her. You would only see these styles in a fashion show, and you wouldn't get to see the fashion show online or even on TV. You had to read about it. It was all print. And that's what kind of made it, again, exclusive. I know I'm being repetitive, but so yeah. And I think they came from that era because, Carrie was still buying magazines. She had her Vogues everywhere. She would go to the newsstand and buy it. But they had the luxury of being in New York and going to Fashion Week and all of that kind of stuff, which is every fashion girl's dream.
Yeah, and I like fashion. Obviously, I can't afford fashion, but it's also kind of unrealistic for me to wear it to Walmart in Middle Georgia. Rolling in with my crazy ass outfit.
See, that was the thing, like,
No, true, but I love it.
like before you look at like a fashion show, if your mom watched it or something, and I would look at it, I'm like, who in the fuck wears that?
There are people
Like,
that wear it, but it's
me
not
do
our
not
echelon
get
of
this.
people.
No, I know, but then you watch the show and like you see like Carrie wear it, and it's like, okay, I guess I could see somebody
Yeah.
wear it. But before that, I'm like, nobody's wearing that shit.
Yeah.
But she didn't really, honestly, to be fair, from what I remember, Carrie was really into vintage fashion.
Yeah.
Like she was really into vintage Chanel and, other designers, but she would go she was a realistic fashion person. She and Miranda would go to secondhand places and try to find things that people had resold. I mean, she bought a few things. She took Burger to Prada. She would always get her Manolos.
Yeah.
and then there was the
that she bought
catastrophe
for
of
a
the fake
burger
Birkin.
looked like a shirt
Yeah.
you could buy at Old Navy for like $10.
I mean,
Yeah, don't forget about the
Yeah.
Birkin. And then, there's the whole episode with Samantha when they went to California and she got her fake Fendi in the back of a car in the valley.
That's what it was. It was a fake Fendi. The
Right.
Birkin was another ordeal for Lucy Liu. but-
Yeah. Oh, she wanted the Birkin really bad. It was like an $8,000 purse.
How about that time? What was it? They went she went to that birthday party, or I think it was kids'
Yeah.
birthday. They stole her shoes.
Yeah.
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 She was like, "Who pays $300 for shoes, Carrie?"
Ooh. Do you think that she should have paid for those shoes?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I
I
disagree.
I always low key thought that lady took those shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe.
No, the other lady that left
You
the
talking
But
about-
party
they think that
took them. I think
Yeah.
she took them on purpose, and then the other one was just like
I
covered
think
up
if
for
you
her, so-
ask people to take shoes off in your home and you have friends like that, you know, because she was part of the group, it comes out. She was part of their group. She tells her, you used to wear shoes like this. Yeah, if you ask someone to take off their shoes in your home and they comply and they come to you and tell you they were wearing those shoes and you've been good friends and they're honest, yeah, I think you have a responsibility. If they're Walmart Bobos, that's a whole nother game. But
I just disagree because if Carrie was that worried about leaving her shoes there, she shouldn't have left them there.
right.
well,
That's
she.
my
But
opinion.
here's
That
the
is a
thing:
thing, too.
she didn't go to the party anticipate having to take them off.
Yeah, but I would have.
she told Stanford
I would have
that.
just held my shoes with me if I was that worried about somebody stealing them.
Well, I guess she probably didn't want to look like the crazy in the
That's
room
what
with
you get.
everybody else's shoes at the front
I
door.
don't give a fuck.
That's
If
what-
it's something
yeah.
I'm worried about, I'm gonna do it.
That's what you get when you buy $300 shoes.
Well, having watched that episode, I would have walked out. I would say, "Here's the gift. See you later." I would have
But-
kept my shoes.
But the other person did take those shoes on purpose.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because that'd be
Exactly.
like me going to a party and having 3-stripe Bobos on and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna accidentally wear this pair of Jordans home."
Yeah.
Accidentally wear the Jordans. So let's talk about the shoes, the blue shoes.
You can buy those
I
still.
know you can.
I saw them on the website the other
Yes,
day.
you can get them. Your dad and I talked about that the other day. You can buy them at Saks Fifth Avenue. Maybe Neiman Marcus still has them, and of course you can buy them at Manolo.
I saw them on the Manolo website.
Aren't they like 800?
They're expensive.
Yeah, I would totally buy them, but I'd never wear them. I'd break my neck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
About $1,200.
yeah.
Oh man.
Okay,
Yeah.
they've gone up. Inflation.
I didn't even pay that much for my wedding dress.
For a pair of shoes that look like if they got wet would fall to pieces.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. Sorry.
They're Manolos.
So?
I mean, if I had
We had
Manolo
this
money, I might. What? They're what?
They're not real.
There's no way
They're
that
not
that's
real.
the same ones.
From a man's perspective, like I know women wear shoes and you can see them, but a man cannot tell the difference between if they cost $1,100
Some
or you got
men
them for
can.
$5
Some men
at
can.
Payless.
Some men
Some
can.
men can.
Well, you have a different take on fashion. You also don't like jewelry. You think they're just shiny rocks.
True. It's like, ooh, look, I got shoes and
This
rocks.
is a whole separate perspective. Fashion is fashion. I would totally, if I had the money, yes, it would be spent on fashion.
You know.
But Katie's right. It's kind of hard to go out into like middle Georgia or downtown Palm Bay, Florida, and wear your fur Ralph Lauren outfit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm stuck
Whatever.
in between. I mean,
How come
I
you didn't
like
feel that
it.
way about your Louis Vuitton?
What do you mean?
that's different.
That's different.
There
That's
were
a
girls in
handbag.
high school that carried Louis Vuittons.
Yeah, but that's like a damn $1,800 purse. You
It
just
costs
whopping
more
it
than
around.
that.
That's really not that bad. I mean, there are Chanel's that I've looked at that are like $13,000 just for a little handbag this big.
Okay.
Sir, you have bought me jewelry from Tiffany's, and even though it was very painful, you bought it.
Well, I know.
Okay, then you know.
I'm sorry. I'm making a lot of noise. I'm getting hemmed up over here.
Mr. Fidgety.
I've hit my 25-minute sit still mark.
Anyways, what I was going to say is that I'm caught in between all that because, like, I like fashion. And obviously, I probably wouldn't dress like Carrie going to the Walmart. But on the same note, I will go into Walmart barefoot. So,
We know. We discussed this.
Ugh.
You.
Jiffy
know.
feet.
Mm-hmm.
hey, that's how you build up your immune
That's
system.
how you get hepatitis.
That's how you build up your immune system.
No.
Athlete's foot, tetanus. Just
I've
a
never
list of
gotten
things.
any of those things, and I go barefoot a lot.
I thought I went barefoot, but not out in public. No, ma'am. Mm-mm, we ain't
I
doing
mean, I
this.
get what you're
Their
saying.
feet.
though.
Everybody's got them.
They're porous.
Not mine.
Okay,
They're
that's a
hard
topic.
as steel on the
Okay.
bottom.
That's a topic for another
Having
day.
having been to New York, I promise you, you would not walk down the street barefoot.
Okay, let's
Maybe
talk
not.
about this.
That is a disgusting, disgusting city.
So, New York is the heart of the show.
Yeah, and it's disgusting.
I love New York City.
We've
I'm-
all been.
I know. I've taken each of the girls individually, and then I went with Sean at Christmas, and I still love it. I don't care if they're peeing on the street. It's beautiful. It's magical. I just love it. I'm sorry.
There's too many people.
How can you have too many people?
There's too many people and not enough people to clean up after them. That's the problem.
Yeah.
It is hugely disgusting.
I
felt sticky every time I got off the subway.
Well, so
I
for the
never took
record,
the
I
subway.
never took the subway till I went with you, and that's because you're cheap. Every
Not
other
cheap.
time I went, taxis every time.
I didn't want to sit in a taxi for 45 minutes to go 2 blocks.
We never did that.
No, but I did sit in somebody's lap in the taxi because there was too many of us.
Hey, gotta do what you gotta do.
We rode a taxi a couple times.
We did, and you complained that it was expensive.
It was like $20 to
All
go
right.
2 blocks. I'm like, I could have walked that easy.
Not if you're walking all day. I'm a different breed.
Okay.
We know this.
But no, I didn't. I mean, I get that, the fascination with New York. And, there were some cool things to look at, and it was a cool experience. But to me personally, no, that city's not. It's too many people. And I know that sounds like, oh, well, you're just used to living in an area where there's not a lot of people. I could live in an area with a lot of people if it was clean.
Yeah.
I never felt unclean there except for when we went in the subway. And I never felt that it was unclean.
There's a little, like a minute thing of disappointment too, because you think that everything's going to be like, shiny and bright. But you go to these iconic places and you look at it and it's like, man, it looks like some rundown crap, like.
Yeah, it's just a building.
Yeah. It's nothing great.
I love New York.
I vaguely remember
heart
New
you.
York. It's been over 10 years since I've been there.
You really don't have a memory? You were old enough to have
I
a lot of
remember
memories.
certain things, but that trip was just so.
It was a blur.
Yeah,
It was
a blur.
fast paced.
But I don't remember it being that dirty.
Yeah, me neither.
Well, Katie was in her goth phase, so she was looking down a lot, the whole time.
But I was going to say something else. I don't remember it being that dirty, and also it was very crowded. And everywhere we went, everybody's like, oh, you're from the South. I could tell by the way you talk, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, do we have to keep harping on this? We all live in the United States.
Well, we're
Right.
like Sasquatch to them. They've never seen it before.
But also, I wouldn't live there. It is way too crowded for my taste.
I would.
There's not enough trees and grass either. But I'm fine visiting. I'd visit again. But
Central Park has a lot of trees
in
and
a
grass.
park.
I did like
I
Central
want
Park.
to open up my
and I
door and
think-
see normalcy.
Right.
Yeah, Central Park is very nice. It was calm for the most part, each time I went.
We were staying in a really nice hotel.
We stayed in New Jersey.
We were in the middle of town, and we stayed in a really nice hotel. First night, walk out. First day you walk out, dude's pissing right there in front of the door. The doorman's, get away from here. You're like,
Yeah, I know.
I don't want to.
Yeah, that's how
We
yeah.
stayed in a hotel in New Jersey and drove over into the city every day.
Yeah.
It was only
Well,
like
that was for
15
safety.
minutes,
So
but-
each time I took you girls, we went with, a company for the school. And that company, the guy who ran it, shout out to Ben, he felt it was safer to congregate all the kids in a hotel on the outskirts of Manhattan.
Yeah.
Just in case, for safety.
Super disappointed by Times Square. That is just like a tourist trap.
It's supposed
like-
to be, though. But to be fair, I'll tell you this. It had greatly gone downhill from the time I took Katie until you went. Because when I took Katie, Toys R Us was still there. You could go ride an indoor Ferris wheel. There were a lot more shops, a lot more entertainment. It's just, it seems to have closed up. I think it's a difference in who's running the city, honestly.
I remember the Naked Cowboy, all the billboards, and the red stairs. That's all I remember about Times Square.
Well, it was right off of, where all the Broadway shows were. So that's another great thing I love is every show I've ever been to see has been fantastic.
Yeah.
I did enjoy the Rockettes when we
yes.
went to Radio City Music Hall.
Yes.
That was a cool
Your dad
experience.
didn't want to do a Broadway show like I did with each of you girls. So we went to see
I wish that it had been a different show. I liked Mamma Mia, but I wish we had saw something cooler.
It was equally as cool. To be fair, Hannah saw Annie and then Megan saw Matilda. And I thought
I wouldn't have
those...
wanted to see either of those.
Yeah, you think you wouldn't have. You thought they would have been kind of kiddie type shows. They were not. They were well put on and kind of iconic. They were
I
great.
want to see like Wicked or The Lion King.
Harry Potter and the
I
First
do want to
Child.
see that. I
I
would
know.
fly up there just to see that and come back home.
We know. My former boss did that. He flew up one weekend to watch the Temptations Broadway show and flew back, and he loved it so much. In a few weeks, he did it again.
Oh my God.
He really likes the Temptations.
Well, yeah, shout out to him.
Shout out to Dick.
What was that Broadway show that we saw on the cruise?
I can't remember.
It was called I don't know, but it was really good. It
Mhm.
probably would have been good on, if you'd have saw it on Broadway. It was good where we saw it at, but
Yeah, they brought the actors in from the off-Broadway show that they did, but it was basically the story of Elvis Presley and Jerry Lee Lewis and Johnny Cash, and one night they spent at Sun Records.
You know they're doing a new movie about Priscilla.
Do
It's called Priscilla.
we need more shows about
Apparently, it's not a show; it's a movie. It's gonna be a movie.
is it a rebuttal to the Elvis movie?
I
or
don't know.
something?
We need to let that go also. We know all there is to know.
Do we?
Well, we might
Have
not.
we seen it from Priscilla's perspective?
She wrote a book.
No, I
Hmm.
think we
She
should
wrote
see
a
her
book.
perspective because I think Elvis was the pedo.
Don't you say that.
Maybe.
I think he was. He had an obsession with young girls.
I guess.
No, there ain't no I guess to it. I don't give him a pass. He's the king of pedophilia.
Wow.
That's what this episode is gonna be called.
Okay. Back to the topic at hand. All right, so we've touched on fashion, touched on the city,
the men,
the
the
men,
women.
the relationships.
Yeah. It was a funny show.
Yes.
Yeah, it was funny.
It had a lot of humor in it.
Yes,
I
the comedy
like
was
that.
fantastic.
Yeah.
They broke up the seriousness with humor
Yeah.
pretty well.
I'll say I think I haven't read this, so I don't really know, have no knowledge. But the first season gives off a singles vibe. A
Yeah.
very Cameron Crowe. We're all going to talk to that 90s. We're going to talk to the screen and narrate it head on
Yeah.
with no real plot. But as time went on and the characters developed, I like the fact that they went away from that and just 30-minute, 1 hour topics. And then next week it's about something completely different till they had storylines and relationships. I enjoyed that more, so I'm glad it gravitated towards that direction.
It was weird in that aspect because, not weird, but I don't know if it was groundbreaking or what, but it kind of set, because, like a lot of TV shows, it's like singularly for that one episode and it doesn't have a plot line
Yeah.
that carries on. They mixed it up. It could be just this one topic about this show, but these other plot lines keep continuing to drag out.
Yeah.
And you didn't see that a lot in TV shows. It was
Yeah.
always like one episode to the next.
Yeah.
And you didn't have like a plot line that drug out across the show like that. And then, you start, I don't know if they got that from somebody else or if, they started, the ones that started that. But I liked it.
Yeah.
Another great thing that they did that I just thought about was think about all the up and coming stars and even some that were established that got a guest spot.
Oh yeah.
Everybody.
Lots of shows do that.
Yeah, well, they did it, I think, really big. Bradley Cooper had one. Justin Theroux had 2 spots as a different
Yeah.
person each time.
Wasn't Paul Rudd in it at one point? Or am I thinking about something else?
Mm-mm.
Paul Rudd was on Friends.
Paul Rudd
That's
did
what it
Friends,
is. Yeah, he dated Phoebe. My bad.
But
Yeah.
you know what? Friends did that a lot.
Friends did that a lot.
Mhm.
But George Clooney was in Roseanne.
Yeah, that's
George
true.
Clooney was on Friends.
Yeah.
George Clooney was in The Facts of Life when he was just a teenage kid. That's
Yeah.
a show from a long time ago. So yeah, that was one thing I liked that they did. That even though you would have one character carrying on a relationship episode after episode, these other 3 would have a brand new person each time, or vice versa. It would always be mixed up. You never
Yeah.
knew.
Okay.
What were we doing
It
something
just
wrong?
looked like Mason was going to say something.
He's been looking like that for
Misread
40
it.
minutes.
Misread it. My bad. Is there anything else y'all want to say about the show?
Well, you
And
watched
just
it.
like that, the podcast is over. Thanks for joining us.
Whatever. Well, you just watched it recently. When's the last time you watched it before this most recent time?
Before I got married.
Okay. So what's your perspective then versus now, do you have a different take?
Yeah.
What's that?
It changed my perception on some of the men. Made me not like Big more.
Made you what?
Not like Big even more.
Yeah, he was
Really?
pretty shitty.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
It made me like Aidan more.
Okay, that's fair.
I think Harry reminds me of Scott.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Harry, I don't know. A little bit of Aidan, a little bit of Steve, and a little bit of Harry all remind me of Scott. Like different aspects.
So being a married woman now, you have a different perspective about how men act
Yeah.
and what you think, what you believe to be normal. Let's talk about that. Neuroses. Everybody, each individual neuroses, even the neuroses in the men.
I'm the queen of neuroses.
Oh,
So.
wow. Okay. Maybe we should not talk about this.
Everybody has neuroses.
Yeah, I know. Like Charlotte, she just really wanted to get married, or at least she thought she wanted to get married, and it became like a neuroses until she got married, and then she wished she hadn't gotten married. That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that just showed, like, her getting with Harry just showed that if you kind of calm down and relax, the right person will just be there.
Right.
And you don't have to be crazy.
Yeah.
Just gotta let it happen, baby.
Yeah. You can't force it to happen.
Yeah. I think Miranda was like that. I don't think she was looking for a relationship, but then one was in her face. She didn't want it, but she did, and she kind of had to be talked
She
into
got on my
it.
nerves, though, because she didn't. I know she was going to tell Steve she was in love with him, but it almost felt like it wasn't until he was going to date somebody else that she was like,
That's how some women are.
shit.
I think
And
they
it's
wrote
like,
her
you're
character like
stupid.
that, though.
They did.
She had
Yeah.
to be the token, women's lib,
Yeah, she had to be the
bra
token
burning,
tough woman.
and I'm
Yeah.
not going to take nothing from a man.
Right.
Ever.
Well, she's a ball busting law. So that's what I was going to say. Some of this had to do with just writing.
Yeah.
They had to have different characters. I think Samantha's the only one that didn't give a damn about anything.
Yeah. I mean, she did. They wanted you to think that she didn't care, but there were some situations where.
That's why these women, too, these actresses never got any other parts after this show because they got pigeonholed into that character.
Yeah.
I mean, because
yeah.
you play that character for so long, that's what.
I think Sarah Jessica Parker had a couple of things.
Yeah, she did.
In movies and stuff, but it wasn't anything major.
But she acted kind of the same in those movies. Like, what was the
I know what you're thinking of. I can't think of the name of it.
It's the movie where Craig T. Nelson was the father and Diane Keaton was the mother.
The Family Stone?
Yeah,
That
the
was
Family,
the Family Stone.
And she pretty much kind of had a
She was
little bit of the
bit
same
different.
character.
I don't know. I remember Sarah Jessica Parker before this. I remember her in Footloose and in Square Pegs. And she was kind of that way, but these were teenage roles, so it was different. So that's my memory of her before then. And then, I don't know, I think she's played some different characters, but she already had, so did Kim Cattrall. She was in Mannequin and Porky's. She
was always a sex pot.
Yeah, kind of was. You're kind of right in some ways.
But
continue, but look up who were the main two characters in the Carrie Diaries.
I never saw that.
It was for kids.
I refused.
Well, I mean, it was for teenagers. It came on like ABC Family or something like that.
No.
But they just kind of pigeonholed themselves into that, and not by their own fault. It was just from the show.
No,
Yeah.
especially if you have a highly popular show, you can't get away from it. Sort of like Friends.
Well, it's like Harry Potter, too.
Yeah.
Like if I met these people in real life, I would automatically be assuming that, like Sarah Jessica Parker's some whiny person. And it's like, I don't want to talk to this person.
Yeah, maybe she is. Maybe that's why they didn't hire her.
I know. Actually, I saw her on Jerry Seinfeld had a show on Netflix. It was like Comedians in Cars or whatever.
She's not like that at all.
She's not. She's actually like a really cool person.
And very down to
And
earth.
she smokes in real life too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They drove
makes
around
sense.
in her, I think it was her dad's station wagon, and she's nothing like her character.
Yeah. Absolutely nothing like that.
And we actually enjoyed it.
Because I always
Yeah.
thought her and Matthew Broderick were a weird couple.
Yeah.
But after you after that interview, I was like, I could see why they're together.
Yeah.
What are the actors' names?
Sebastian. Is that the guy she talked about on the show?
I don't know about that, but this was like aimed towards teenagers, and it was called the Carrie Diaries, and it was when Carrie was a teenager herself,
Right.
and it was kind of like the start of all of her stuff, and
Like
it was
a
like
prequel.
it was like, what are their names? Anna Sophia Robb. Yeah, it was Austin Butler.
Oh, I never saw this show.
Yeah, Austin Butler played her love interest in it.
So did they have like characters that mimicked other characters in the show?
Not. I only watched the first season. It was really heavily in fashion. Like she wanted to be in fashion at
Right.
first, and it wasn't necessarily about her being a writer at first. But it was very teeny boppy and kind of like it was kind of like they were trying to make Sex and the City for teenagers, where it was about relationships and stuff. But
I'm glad I
obviously
didn't
there was
watch
no
that.
sex in it,
Yeah, for sure. That
or
would be
like
weird.
graphic sex scenes. But
Yeah. I'm glad I didn't watch that. I wouldn't want what I've watched to be ruined by some weird storyline to keep
Yeah.
the dream alive, I guess.
yeah,
Like I think Miranda's character would have been a lot better if they would have wrote her a lot less bitchy, because when she wasn't being bitchy, she seemed like a fun a fun person.
yeah,
Yeah, when she was with Steve and she was just like a regular person, but when she wasn't, it was like there was always a front there, some sort of tough facade that had to.
I don't know. I
And
think
men go. I mean, I'm gonna tell you from like a man's perspective, men don't like a overly bossy woman per se, but I mean, men do find attractive women who are, I know what I want, and I'm gonna do this, and kind of a little more assertive.
Right, a strong woman.
Yeah, because you know that you got somebody that's
But you don't
you
want to
can
be
count on, too.
made to feel like you can't be the man in the relationship either.
exactly.
And
And I
frankly,
felt like she neutered every man she was with.
yeah,
Yeah.
I would agree because
Yeah.
frankly, not even I'm a pretty tough and strong woman,
Right, and I like that.
but I don't want a wimpy man that I can control. That's no fun.
And they kind of made Steve seem like
is it a game?
no, I mean,
I'm
but
just
they
saying,
made
but
Steve a little gimpy.
They did a little
No.
bit. Like he should have stood up to her. I'm with your dad. He should have stood up to her and said no. And he didn't do it enough. He did it a couple of times, but it wasn't enough. But I think the writers focused on the girls.
Yeah, but I think at the same time they made them in a way that all women could find somebody relatable. So
Right.
if they didn't make her that way, there would be a set of women that didn't find anybody
Absolutely.
relatable.
Yeah.
I mean, true.
But
right.
I mean, sometimes
But maybe you're right. Maybe that made women that were like that look at it and go, maybe I'm being too much.
Oh, sure.
Maybe,
You
yeah.
could
I don't
angle
know.
it
Yeah.
every way.
Because that's kind of the way they portrayed it. Because, everybody else, even her friends, would tell her, you're being too much.
Yeah.
It's too harsh.
Well, I mean, even at one point after Carrie and Big broke up, there's a whole scene where she goes into therapy and they're like, we can't handle you anymore. You're whining too much. You have become too much for us.
And I can't believe they never got onto some. They had that one episode where she was afraid she might have had AIDS,
Yeah.
but they never got onto her and were like, girl, your coochie gonna rot off. You
Yeah.
gotta slow down.
yeah.
Yeah, I was a little shocked that they only addressed AIDS one time. They never addressed.
Well,
Miranda-
Charlotte gets crabs.
Yeah, Miranda gets the clap. You're right.
But never Samantha. And I'm like, dude, this chick's,
Yeah, there
yeah,
were
but she was
opportunities
also
there.
very smart though, and she always used protection and stuff like that.
No, she admits in the AIDS episode that she didn't always.
No, but for the most part, she did.
Yeah, I think so. But I'm with your dad. As someone, a character as promiscuous as she was, they probably could have socially put in some more.
Yeah, but this was a
Safety
very
concern.
sex positive show, and it was
Right.
trying to
True story.
push things into a more sex positive
like
direction.
women are sexual and,
right.
they're just,
Right.
they're equally as sexual
Well,
as me.
and
Right.
also too, let's be realistic. This is human beings who make mistakes.
Yeah.
Look at Miranda. She got pregnant. And they went through the whole thing where they thought she was going to have an abortion. And I mean, I got to tell you, I was shocked that she didn't at the end.
Yeah, I was too.
In the scene when, Charlotte comes in and gives her flowers, I fully expected her to say, I didn't expect that. That was a shock twist ending. Because, most TV shows are woke for the most part, so you expect them to put in that abortion avenue. So when they didn't, I was like, wow, especially for
well, I mean, they put it in there
Miranda.
as an option,
They
but
did.
I think too, she had the whole bum ovary thing going on. She was at a certain age where she still wanted kids.
And Steve had the one ball.
And she was scared that she wouldn't be able to again. Plus, that was a way for the show to keep Steve in.
True story.
Well, also too, that show was not, per se woke by today's standards.
No.
Because when you go back and rewatch it now, there is a lot of stuff in there where you would look at it and go, that wouldn't fly.
oh, yeah.
today."
So that's a
No,
thing
no
now. A
way.
lot of people are bashing that they were bigoted, racist, homophobic, all these things. The weird thing that people don't know is the writers were gay. So the two original writers were gay.
Right.
And so it's a nice surprise for them to choose Miranda to evolve her character into becoming the mom of the group. Of
Yeah.
all people, the hardcore feminist figure becomes the married mom first over Charlotte.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as they got older, they
So it was a
started
plot
putting
twist.
more realistic things into their lives. Like, Charlotte couldn't have a kid. A
Yeah.
lot of people have that problem. It's
Well,
like,
and then Miranda moving her mother-in-law in
right.
Yeah.
and dealing with all that with Steve. So
And Samantha having a tough exterior, getting cancer, and having to depend on a man.
yeah,
Yeah, it's like they evolved them all into against their greatest fears or
Except
their.
Carrie. She stayed whiny.
Aidan is coming back in the second season.
I know.
and
So
just
I've
like
already
that.
watched the new show, the first 2 seasons, and the episodes up in the second. Against my better judgment, because I'm just not happy with the character
You
development.
watched the first 2 episodes of
I've
this?
already watched. I can't help myself, even though I don't love where they're going. I can't not know. And the preview shows Aidan. I don't know what it's going to be because where they left off with him, he was happily married with 3 sons.
Yeah,
I know the world's different now and they put a lot of things in shows now, but I felt like too with the new show, it was like they were doing it just to say, look at us, we're
Yeah.
doing it too.
yeah,
Instead of
Yeah.
it being like the writing's not very good.
It's not. They're not.
I don't like it.
I
Yeah.
don't think they're. The only thing I've liked about it so far was I like the sweet little insert of Natasha, where you think there might be some conflict, but it's not. Big leaves her some money, I think, out of guilt, and they actually form a bond over it, and it's kind of unexpected. So, like, I like those unexpected twists where you think there's gonna be drama, and it turns out it might be a friendship or vice versa. I'm not a fan that Miranda left Steve. I feel like we did all this work in this relationship, and all for it to he just became boring and he's deaf and he's gone. We're leaving him because he became a boring husband. I don't know. It just is sloppy. I think it was too easy. And I think it was lazy to write him off.
yeah,
Yeah.
I miss that character really bad. That relationship. I think that relationship got thrown away just for a new perspective.
yeah.
I think the most disappointing thing about the show to me was that Kristen Davis had a nudity clause in her contract and you never got to see her.
Oh my God.
Because all these other women, you got to see everything they had, but not her.
You did.
No,
You did get to see some things.
no.
You missed out then. You weren't paying
She
attention.
It was always side boob or something like that. It was, I waited with bated breath every week. Oh, this is the week. It's going to happen. Never happened.
Whatever.
Of course you did.
I'm a man. You watch TV shows like that, and I mean, that's,
That's what you're looking for.
not what you're looking for, but it's there, so you're going to look.
But you had hopes
Mason,
for
am I
Kristen
lying?
Davis.
Yeah, there you go.
If it's thrown out there, it's thrown out
He's
there.
like, well, if my sister looked like that, I don't know.
Whatever. Gross.
Gross. Don't say gross. You guys all watch that.
In case you couldn't hear Mason, we're talking about Game of Thrones. Just to be clear about the incest.
Yeah.
I mean, Cersei was pretty hot. Just saying.
I
Ew.
don't know about all that.
Oh, she was.
Good to know.
I don't know about all that. This might even be cut. Who knows what Addison will decide.
Yeah, let's hope he does.
I don't know. Anyways,
Anyways, any other comments about the show?
Nope. It's kind of ironic. It's been around for 25 years. I've been married for 25 years. I feel like I've grown up as a married woman with these ladies. I've learned a lot. I know that sounds silly, but there's some stories there.
It's more relatable when you're older because like I was watching it not too long ago, like I said before, and Steve and Miranda's honeymoon cracked me up because Miranda's relatable to me sometimes, and it was just she couldn't take it.
So I did this very thing on our anniversary trip to the woods.
Nope.
Your dad was relaxing, chilling, having a fab time, and I was losing my mind. I have no internet. I have no
loved
TV.
it.
It's
No
not
cell
necessarily
service,
about
no
the
anything.
internet and the TV, but I can't just cuddle up with you for 6 days.
No, I have a brain. I hear.
I want to go do something.
I have a brain.
Mm,
That I could hear her saying that in my head. I have a brain. I have to do more than this. Yeah.
not me. It was great. I'll just go out on the front porch of that cabin and lay in a swing and take a nap. And I was like, this is fantastic. You could read a book, just chill. It was great.
You're such a man.
No, it was awesome. I mean, it's like the world slows down. I don't understand why y'all don't. I don't know.
I have a brain.
I know, but I
my
always feel
brain
like
needs
I'm
to be
in the
stimulated.
rat race, and my brain is always engaged. And now it's like, you know, when you get to that,
It's not about, and like vacation is nice,
Yeah.
but it's just more about the, like, I don't know. It's more of a thing now to talk about like people's love languages and like different stuff like that. And Scott is a more affectionate person than me, and like I couldn't just be cuddled up the whole time.
That's your
and
dad.
having this big romantic trip. I want to go like do other
see,
stuff.
and that's where you and your mother are the same person.
Yeah.
Like you're going to bed the night before. What are we going to do tomorrow? I don't know.
Yeah, I need to know. I need to have a plan.
Yeah, when I go to
Or
bed,
it's gonna throw me into anxiety.
there's 578 tabs open at all times. I'm always planning
No.
from next year to this week to yesterday. My brain just never stops. So
No, but that's what I'm saying about the show is like it wasn't just all drama and like what's going on, like different types of relationships you can have. It also shows like how to make a relationship work when you and the other person are different on something, or
how you can destroy
what
that
you have to
relationship.
give to the other person, because
Oh, yeah.
a relationship isn't always equal or
Right.
fair.
Oh yeah, they showed every perspective of how crazy you can be.
That too.
Is she'll put a mirror in front of your face. How timid you can be. It's just a variety of personalities. They did not touch on one personality.
I think
that
it all goes
doesn't
back
exist.
to the age-old opposites attract, because look at all the relationships. There was never two people that were the same.
Yeah.
Like even when she got with another writer, it didn't work at all.
Yeah.
Right. Several times she did that.
Right. It always takes two people. One person brings this to the relationship, and the other person brings that.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Because if you got two people that are exactly the same, it's probably pretty boring, or you're going to fight all the time.
Yeah. All right. Is that it?
I mean, I don't. You know, you guys
All right.
want to talk about anything else?
I
Like,
think that's it.
let's talk about Cersei's hotness. You
Let's
guys
not-
don't
this is-
seem sold
this
in on
is
that.
not a Game of
This
Thrones
is not
episode.
Game of Thrones. I don't watch that. Not about it.
Why not? Hey, you know what though? The good thing that did come out of Sex and the City, your mom started watching Sopranos with me because she
Oh,
was
yeah.
just watching after that.
I've started the first season so many times and then never go back to it.
See, the first
You
season.
just got to get over that hump, and I got sucked right into
It was
it.
kinda
It became
slow.
a Sunday night thing.
Yeah,
I had to watch.
you would love it because you liked, Sons of Anarchy and
Yeah.
Yellowstone, which are basically cowboys and motorcycle Sopranos.
Yeah.
So
Those are clones of the real deal. Sopranos
it
is
was
the
really
pinnacle.
good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. Well, that's the end of this side quest. Like, follow, share, subscribe to us. Let us know if you're Team Aidan or Team Big.
I finally got on one. Sweet.
Same.